Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I'm trying to pretend like I'm Hikaru. No, I'm not. Um, we're gonna analyze a game we just played in a Dutch league called the KNSB. It's the sixth round out of 8 rounds. We're fighting to not relegate to the fifth division. We play in the fourth, and our opponent is Pete Burgers. If you're wondering why my rating is so deliberately high, well, my last analysis, I was probably around 1600. It's because of FIDE and KNSB. The ratings have been inflated because there was, well, you can look it up yourself, but there was some issues regarding the top where a lot of people were underrated, and now you get a rating based on your previous rating where you can gain up to 400 points of ELA. I gained probably around 140-ish. So yeah, and my opponents probably did the same. So this is why the high rating discrepancy, even though the quality of this game is probably not that high. But without further ado, let's get this 1800 game started. We're fighting for 1800 rating, guys, and we start with d4. A super boring opening. Knight f6, c4, e6, and knight c3. Bishop b4, and we get a Nimzo Indian defense, known to be super solid. The idea is that you take the knight and destroy the pawn structure. So my opponent avoids this by playing bishop d2, but bishop d2 is super passive. But I'm also out of theory. So b6, f3, and I am not sure what to do. So I play c5, striking in the center. Apparently white should play d5 here and capitalize on the fact that you have super spacious center here. My opponent decides to play e3, just defending the pawn simply. I castle. Again, taking would be good. And then castling, because after knight or bishop here, we get bishop a6 and we put pressure on the pawn. Let's say knight e2. I guess we can already strike in the center, and white is already encountering really big problems, even though white just did the most natural moves. So back to the game. We did not take and castled here. Knight e2, bishop b7. Again, bishop a6 was better because of the pressuring of this c4 pawn. e4 takes, and here black should strike with d5. And after these trades, white has a smidgen of an edge because after takes, there's rook e8, bishop e2, and apparently black is doing fine. I did not find this at all, but it does seem logical in the end because white cannot castle. I decided to play knight c6, trying to trade off things because I was thinking after d5 here, white could play e5, and this is really annoying. And I didn't realize that after takes, there's queen takes on d4. Okay, there's f takes d7, rook d8, and black is simply better, has better pieces. This pawn is actually helping black to, stave off anything. But I simply did not want to go into this. So after takes, knight c6, knight went back, and again d5 is an option, but I decided to draw back. In hindsight, I think bishop c5 was probably better. In actuality, it's the best move because now I allowed my opponent to play bishop e3, and he can safely castle. The bishop is very well placed on e3. So rook c8, bishop e2, a6 to get a space for the queen. If I play queen c7 right now, there's knight b4, and I just wasn't interested in this at all, even though it's a queen b8. So a6, castles, and queen c7, f4, knight a5, attacking both this pawn twice and this pawn twice, e5, and knight e4. Takes, b3, defending the pawn, and b5, hoping that he would take, and then I could take here, and I gain a very dominant position. He doesn't obviously do that. We take the pawn, he excavates the queen, I defend, and attacks the bishop. I defend the bishop, and he goes here. And here I thought, okay, I was just simply better. I can just trade everything off. I was thinking takes, check, takes back here, and I'm just up a pawn. He can take here, and everything's fine. But there was b4. So yeah, that's just horrible chess, right? I'm just down a piece now. Yes, I am. So takes. Knight c2, intending to go to e3. Rook c8. He goes to e3, and rook c1. So I'm defending the pawn because it's attacked twice. He puts more pressure on this pawn. I go to the open line with the rook, and he puts even more pressure on this pawn. So he's guaranteed to win this pawn. So no matter what I do, I will lose this pawn. So the only thing I can do here is to get active. I played g5. I thought it was a funny move because I played b5. Also, I'm trying to destroy pawn structure, and who knows? Who knows? He blunders, this pawn, and then consequently this pawn. I'm just trying to really destroy his pawn structure here. I have nothing to lose. I'm down a piece. I'm playing g5, g3. Oh, g5 by the way. And then after takes, I'm obviously not gonna trade on volition, so I drop back. He takes the pawn, not seeing the lateral line of the rook, and I simply snatch out two rooks. Don't ask me why he plays bishop knight this here. He can simply play h4, defending this pawn. But I think because he missed this lateral line, my hypothesis is that he also missed this lateral line. So yeah, takes, and we're playing a game again. He moves away this pawn with a3, so I cannot take after he takes here, so I thought I'd do the same. Bishop drops back, rook here, knight here, rook here, attacking this pawn, a4, h4, now this pawn is weak. We go rook, king f8, and here I took a really long time anyways, because I was intending to connect the rook somehow, some way, and I was looking for 5 minutes at this move, which just blunders the rook. And I decided, like, when you're trying to force too much, not knowing the bishop controls this square, and I just played king f8. It's just like, this couldn't hurt. This could not be a blunder, and I'm happy that I did that. Knight goes again back to c2 because my opponent is quite clueless, I guess, in this position. Yeah, rook here again, bishop there, and I decided to put the bishop here because my idea the whole time was to put the bishop here and play d5, takes. I dropped the rook back for a second. Was not needed. Apparently f5 was best, but I didn't like the lines with something like this where this pawn would be attacked and I had no clue how to solve that. In hindsight, apparently rook c4 is just winning. Rook takes, and takes. And we're up on pawn, but quite some useful pawns, let's say. But I obviously didn't see that, so I went back with the rook, defending this pawn, because I didn't like this. And he went knight e3, d5, king there, intending that if I go here, he can just take my rooks, and after takes, he just wins the pawn. So king g7, taking it slow, g4, rook b2, just threatening stuff, and knight c2, e5, and now the blunder, rook e1. And why is this a blunder? Feel free to pause the video. Wait, that's not even possible because you already see the answer. Exactly. Rook takes c2. After rook takes c2, I take the other rook. Obviously, he cannot take this rook. This will be deafening because I can just take and take here, or even the other way around. I could take here and then take here, and this is just over and out. So this is indeed the only way to continue. Rook c5, d4, protecting this pawn. And after this, we give some checks. We give a check here, and then put our rook behind this pawn. After rook e5, attacking this pawn, I decide to defend it. Goes there. I take the pawn because, he's not attacking anything at the moment. And here, I have some decisions to make. I have to bring the king in to defend this pawn, so my rook here has something to do. I hesitated for a little bit, so I wasted some time and then decided to go for it. King c4, and here opponent makes another blunder by going king e4. Point is that king always has to block this pawn, and now the pawn is free to go. If he goes here, for example, I can just move out of the way, and he can just do this, but I can just queen in that situation, and after he moves away, I win. So he went rook c8, king b3, rook c1, stopping this, and now I went king b2. Because after rook e1, which did happen in the game, I have king c3, a really nasty trap, as if takes, there's discovery check with the knight, rook again. Wow, I'm the best 1800 ever. That's by the way, uh, sarcastic. I'm probably the worst 1800 ever, but this did not happen in the game. Our opponent saw this and decided to go rook b1, and after king c2, opponent resigned. Point being that if you move away, I can just go king d2, and I thought even here I can just go here, check, and I just queen, right? And this is just over and out, done and dusted. A hiya from the audience, and yeah, a very nice game, I would say. I would not rate this as 1800. I would rather go for like 1600, I think. Yeah, so the computer suggests this is like 84 accuracy on my part and 78% accuracy on his part. But if you look at the eval bar, it's ridiculously bad, right? Where I just made a big blunder here. I kind of kept, myself in the game, but in the end, the big blunders were mutual. So that was nice. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.